Hi and welcome back. Let me ask you something that most people never think about seriously. Why do so many dreams disappear after being shared with others? A person talks about starting a business, then quits. Someone announces a fitness journey, then loses motivation. Another person says, "This year will change my life." But nothing changes at all. Why? Because sometimes the fastest way to weaken a goal is to talk about it too early. Today, we are going to explore why silence can become power, why focused people move quietly, why too many opinions destroy ambition, and why protecting your plans may protect your future. So wherever you are right now, slow down, relax, and listen carefully, because this message may help you see your life differently. Part 1. Talking about success. Feels like success. Human beings naturally enjoy attention. We enjoy feeling important. We enjoy being admired. We enjoy hearing people say, "That's amazing. You're going to succeed. I believe in you." And honestly, there's nothing wrong with wanting encouragement. The problem begins when encouragement replaces action. Many people talk about future success because talking creates emotional pleasure. The brain feels rewarded before the hard work even starts. A person announces a big goal online. Friends support them. People react positively, and suddenly, they already feel accomplished. But real success is not built through emotional excitement. It is built through repetition, quiet repetition. Waking up early when nobody is watching. Practicing English daily even when progress feels slow. Saving money quietly. Studying after a long, exhausting day. Those moments are not glamorous. Nobody claps for them. That is why many people prefer talking over doing. Talking is easy, discipline is difficult, and modern culture makes this problem worse. Today, people constantly announce new goals. Big things are coming. My life is changing. This is my new beginning. But many never continue long enough to create real transformation. Because motivation is temporary. Real growth requires consistency. That is why silent people often achieve more. They spend less energy speaking and more energy building. Think about a seed in the ground. At first, nothing appears above the surface. But underground, roots are growing quietly. If you constantly dig it up to show people, it never becomes strong. Goals are the same way. Some dreams need privacy in the beginning. Protection, time, patience, especially during early stages when confidence is still fragile, because not every opinion helps you grow. Some people support you only emotionally. Some secretly doubt you. Some project their fears onto your future. And if your mind is weak during the beginning, outside negativity can destroy momentum quickly. That is why focused people become selective about who they share plans with. Not because they hate others, but because they understand something important. Energy is limited, and every unnecessary conversation steals a little focus. Real builders understand this deeply. They stop trying to impress people with words. Instead, they become obsessed with progress. Small daily improvements, small disciplined actions, small private victories. And over time, those invisible habits begin changing their entire life. Part 2. Not everyone wants to see you become different. One of the hardest lessons in adulthood is realizing this. Not everyone around you wants your growth. People may enjoy your company. They may laugh with you, spend time with you. But when you begin changing seriously, some relationships become uncomfortable. At first, everything seems normal. You decide to become more disciplined. You wake up earlier, spend less time online, study more, focus on your future. And suddenly, people react differently. You've changed. You're too serious now. You work too much. Relax and enjoy life. At first, those words may sound harmless, but over time, constant negativity slowly affects the mind because humans are deeply influenced by environment. If everyone around you complains, complaining starts feeling normal. If everyone around you wastes time, discipline begins feeling strange. That is dangerous. Many people never become successful because they stay surrounded by small thinking for too long. And sadly, some individuals will discourage your dreams simply because they gave up on their own. Fear spreads easily. A person who failed may believe success is impossible. A person afraid of risk may criticize ambition. A person with no discipline may secretly mock discipline in others. Not because your dream is wrong, but because your growth reminds them of their own limitations. This is why silence becomes powerful. Not every person deserves access to your future plans, especially during the beginning. Early goals are fragile, like a small fire. Too much wind can destroy it. But once the fire becomes strong, storms no longer matter. Your confidence works the same way. You must protect it while it is still growing. And honestly, many successful people learned this lesson painfully. They shared dreams too early. They listened to negative opinions. They allowed doubt to enter their mind. And slowly, motivation disappeared. Eventually, they realized something important. Most people judge based on their own experience of life. Someone who never built a business may tell you it is impossible. Someone who never learned a skill may say it takes too long. Someone who fears failure may tell you to stay safe forever. If you listen to everybody, confusion becomes endless. That is why focused individuals become quieter over time. They stop explaining every goal. Stop seeking approval. Stop announcing every next move. Instead, they let actions speak, because actions create proof. Words create temporary emotion, and life eventually reveals the difference between people who talk and people who build. Quiet workers often surprise everyone later. People suddenly say, "Wow, you changed so much. You became successful quickly. You're lucky." But success was not sudden. It was hidden discipline repeated for months or years. The world only noticed the result, not the lonely mornings, not the boring routines, not the private struggles. That is why protecting your energy matters so much. Not everyone needs access to unfinished versions of you. Some things grow better in silence. And sometimes, the strongest thing you can do is quietly continue improving while nobody understands your vision yet. Part 3. Silent progress. Feel slow until one day everything changes. One reason many people quit too early is because progress looks invisible in the beginning. You work hard, but your life still looks the same. You study daily, but still make mistakes. You stay disciplined, but results come slowly. And after some time, frustration appears. You begin wondering, is this even working? Why am I not changing faster? Why does success take so long? These questions destroy many dreams because modern culture has made people impatient. Everyone wants fast results, fast money, fast confidence, fast success. But real growth is usually quiet and slow. Think about learning English. At first, it feels uncomfortable. You forget vocabulary quickly. Listening feels difficult. Speaking feels embarrassing. But something important is happening underneath the surface. Your brain is adapting slowly. Confidence is growing quietly. And one day, you suddenly notice improvement. You understand more conversations. You speak more naturally. You feel calmer using the language. The growth was happening the entire time. You simply could not see it immediately. Life works the same way. A person exercising daily may not notice change after 1 week, but after 1 year, their body becomes completely different. A person reading every day may still feel average at first, but over time, their thinking becomes sharper and deeper. Small actions seem weak daily, but powerful yearly. That is why disciplined people focus less on motivation and more on routine. Because motivation changes constantly. Some mornings you feel inspired. Other mornings you feel tired, stressed, or discouraged. If your actions depend only on emotion, consistency becomes impossible. But disciplined people continue anyway. Even when progress feels slow. Even when nobody notices. Even when excitement disappears. That is what separates dreamers from builders. Dreamers love inspiration. Builders respect repetition. And repetition is often boring. Wake up. Practice. Fail. Learn. Continue. Again and again. Most people quit because this process feels too ordinary. They expect dramatic transformation. But real transformation usually happens quietly, slowly, almost invisibly. Like sunrise. You do not notice every second of change. But suddenly, the entire sky looks different. That is why silence can become such a powerful advantage. When you stop seeking attention constantly, you begin focusing on process instead of appearance. You stop asking, "How can I look successful?" and start asking, "How can I become stronger every day?" That question changes everything, because success is rarely one giant moment. It is usually thousands of small decisions repeated consistently over time. A person who controls spending daily eventually becomes financially stable. A person who studies daily eventually becomes skilled. A person who practices emotional control daily eventually becomes mentally strong. The outside world only sees the final result, but the real transformation happened privately. That is why mature people stop obsessing over fast recognition. Recognition without substance disappears quickly. But substance built quietly becomes difficult to ignore. And honestly, one of the most powerful feelings in life is improving without needing everyone to notice immediately. You stop performing growth. You simply live it. You trust your process. You become calmer, more patient, more focused. And slowly, your identity changes. Discipline stops feeling painful. It becomes part of who you are. That is real confidence, not loud confidence. Quiet confidence built through repeated action. And eventually, your silent progress becomes visible to everyone around you. Not because you announced it, but because your life naturally begins speaking for you. Part 4. The world rewards attention, But life rewards discipline. Today, many people feel pressure to constantly show their lives online. Every achievement, every workout, every goal, every new beginning. Sometimes people spend more energy appearing productive than actually improving. They post motivational quotes, talk about success constantly, announce big future plans, but privately, nothing really changes. Because real discipline is not exciting most of the time. It is repetitive. Quiet mornings, long work days, late-night practice sessions, continuing when motivation disappears. Nobody celebrates those moments. That is why many people avoid them. They love the image of success more than the process of becoming successful. But life eventually exposes the difference. A person who talks constantly but never acts stays stuck. A quiet person who improves daily slowly creates a different future. This is why mature people become more careful with energy. They stop explaining themselves to everybody. They stop arguing with negative people. They stop needing constant approval. Because they realize something important. Not every opinion deserves space inside your mind. Your environment shapes your thinking more than you realize. If you constantly hear excuses, discipline begins feeling extreme. If you constantly hear negativity, ambition begins feeling dangerous. But when you spend time around focused and disciplined people, growth feels normal. That is why protecting your mental environment matters so much. Some conversations inspire you. Others drain your energy completely. Some people discuss ideas, learning, and solutions. Others only discuss gossip, drama, and complaints. One environment pushes you forward. The other quietly keeps you stuck. And honestly, many people underestimate how much distraction destroys potential. Phones constantly vibrate. Social media never stops. Entertainment is available every second. Modern life makes focus difficult. People consume endless information but rarely spend quiet time improving themselves. Silence has become uncomfortable for many people. But silence reveals truth. When everything becomes quiet, you finally see your habits clearly. Your excuses, your wasted time, your real priorities. That is why many people avoid silence. Noise becomes distraction. Scrolling becomes escape. Constant entertainment becomes escape. But growth often begins when distraction ends. When a person finally sits alone and honestly asks, "What kind of future am I creating?" That question can change a life. Because eventually, excuses become exhausting. Pretending becomes exhausting. Waiting becomes exhausting. And some people finally decide to become serious about their future. Not loudly, quietly. They stop talking so much, stop announcing every plan, and start building discipline privately. That is when real transformation usually begins. Not in public attention, but in quiet consistency repeated daily. Part 5. Growth can feel lonely before it feels rewarding. One difficult truth about self-improvement is this. Growth can feel lonely before it becomes rewarding. Not because you suddenly hate people, but because your mindset begins changing. You become more focused, more disciplined, more protective of your time and energy. And slowly, certain habits no longer feel attractive. Endless scrolling feels empty. Constant gossip feels exhausting. Wasting hours every day begins feeling painful. You start wanting something deeper from life. And that change can create emotional distance between you and the people around you. Sometimes friends may not understand your new direction. Sometimes family members may doubt your goals. Sometimes people become uncomfortable when you stop living exactly like them. That can hurt emotionally, because humans naturally want connection and acceptance. But growth often requires separation from unhealthy patterns. You cannot build a different future while repeating the same habits every day. Something must change. And honestly, change feels uncomfortable in the beginning. That is why many people return to old behaviors. Not because they truly want that life, but because familiar habits feel safe. Discipline feels difficult at first because it forces you to face discomfort directly. Waking up early is uncomfortable. Studying when tired is uncomfortable. Saving money instead of spending impulsively is uncomfortable. But uncomfortable actions often create better futures. That is something mature people eventually understand. Temporary comfort can create long-term pain. Temporary discipline can create long-term freedom. This is why emotionally strong people learn how to continue even during difficult seasons. And every meaningful journey contains difficult seasons. Moments when results feel invisible. Moments when motivation disappears. Moments when self-doubt becomes loud. Those moments test identity. Who are you when nobody encourages you? Who are you when progress is slow? Who are you when quitting feels easier? That answer shapes your future more than talent ever will. Because many talented people fail from inconsistency. Meanwhile, disciplined people often succeed simply because they continue longer. Consistency is powerful. A calm person improving slowly for years will eventually outperform someone who depends only on motivation. That is why quiet people often become mentally stronger over time. They stop chasing constant validation. They stop needing everyone to notice their growth immediately. Instead, they focus on keeping promises to themselves. And every small promise completed builds self-respect. When you continue studying daily, you trust yourself more. When you remain disciplined during difficult days, confidence grows naturally. Not fake confidence. Real confidence. The kind built privately through action. That is why some of the strongest people speak very little about their future. They understand something important. Words do not change lives. Habits do. And habits are built quietly. One day at a time. One decision at a time. One disciplined moment at a time. Eventually, your identity changes. Discipline stops feeling temporary. It becomes part of who you are. And that quiet transformation becomes more powerful than motivation ever was. Part 6. Let your results speak instead of your words. At some point in life, many people become tired of talking about change. Tired of promising. Tired of restarting. Tired of saying, tomorrow will be different. And slowly, they realize something powerful. A quiet life with real progress feels better than loud dreams with no action. That realization changes everything, because mature ambition does not need constant attention. It does not need to impress people every day. Instead, it focuses on execution, daily habits, daily discipline, daily improvement, even when nobody notices. That is the difference between dreamers and builders. Dreamers wait for perfect motivation. Builders continue even when motivation disappears. And honestly, motivation always disappears eventually. No person feels inspired every single day. There will be mornings when you feel tired, days when progress feels invisible, moments when doubt enters your mind. But disciplined people continue anyway, because they understand that success is usually created through small actions repeated consistently for a long time. Real confidence is built this way, not through talking loudly about goals, but through proving to yourself that you can continue. When you wake up early repeatedly, your self-respect grows. When you study consistently even during difficult days, your confidence becomes stronger. When you keep promises to yourself, your identity changes. And slowly, discipline stops feeling painful. It becomes natural. That is real transformation. Quiet transformation. The kind that changes a person from the inside out. Eventually, something interesting happens. You no longer feel desperate to prove yourself to everybody. You stop announcing every next move. You stop seeking validation from strangers. Because your life begins speaking for you naturally. People notice your calmness, your discipline, your growth. Not because you explained it constantly, but because your actions made it visible. That is real power. And maybe this is the lesson many people need most today. Not every dream needs an audience. Not every goal needs public attention. Some things become stronger when protected. Some goals grow better in silence. So if you are building something right now, your mindset, your future, your English, your health, protect it carefully. Do not rush to show everybody your plans. Focus on becoming stronger quietly. Focus on building habits that last. Focus on creating a life that feels meaningful, even when nobody is clapping for you yet. Because in the end, results create the strongest introduction. Not promises, not motivation, not noise, results. And one day, people may ask, how did your life change so much? And quietly, deep inside, you will remember all the invisible effort nobody saw, the lonely mornings, the disciplined nights, the moments you continued even when quitting felt easier. That is where real transformation happened. Not in public attention, but in silence. If this message connected with you today, and you enjoy slow, deep English stories that improve both your mindset and your listening skills, please consider subscribing to the channel. We are building something meaningful here, one lesson at a time. Take care of yourself, my friend. And remember, move quietly, stay disciplined, and let your results speak for you.